Bowling in the Weber Cup is one of our highlights of the year. There's no other format like this. The last 5 years when I've been here, it's been so special.
The atmosphere of the Weber Cup is unbelievable, unmatched anywhere in bowling.
The American team's really good. There's not one weak link in there. For us, when we're bowling against them, we have to take care of ourselves and bowl a good score ourselves, and we just hope that it's going to be better than theirs.
The Europeans they're very good bowlers, and it's going to be hard, but I have all the faith in the world in the 3 guys in there and myself, so we have a great team. At the end of the day, I think we're going to hold that title again.
It was unbelievable listening and watching some of that Ryder Cup. I think it really shows the Americans how much team spirit we have as a continent, and that's exactly what we're going to bring with us.
Last year to come back and win and get that feeling again of winning the Weber Cup and taking it back to America, it's a huge feeling, especially after this year's Ryder Cup collapse. That doesn't happen in bowling.
We know exactly what we need to do. We need to go out there and we need to start striking, put up some big scores, and if we do that, then we're going to come back.
We got our hands full this year to try to beat the Europeans.
Welcome to the Barnsley Metrodome, home of the Weber Cup. Team USA lead Europe by 13 points to 7 now, and the Europeans need something special in their next 2 matches from session 4. Yes, hello. So far, it's certainly lived up to the hype here in Barnsley. We're now at the business end of the competition as both teams strive to lift the most prestigious team competition on the planet. So far, session 4 looks like there's plenty of red on that scoreboard. That makes pretty grim reading for the Europeans. They started well in the team event, and Jones and Fagan looking really good, almost getting a magic maximum 300 game at 279. Coming up next, Koivuniemi and Williams take on Barnes and Fagan. But before that, it's time to meet Dom Barrett and Tommy Jones as our next singles match gets underway. Please welcome into the arena, representing Team Europe, Dom Barrett. And now, representing Team USA, it's Tommy Jones. OK, so 13 points to 7. Tommy, Dom, have a quick word with you both before the start of this match. Tommy first, plenty of high fives going on there as you came into the arena. Things are looking pretty sweet for the Americans at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, we're 6 points up, and we kind of have a little bit of momentum going from last night onto today, and hopefully I can continue that going. I know Dom's going to bowl a pretty good game here, so I'm going to need to bring my A game to get another point for the Americans.
Absolutely. Good luck to you, Tommy. Dom, it's looking tough for the Europeans at the moment, but if anyone can lift this team and this arena, it's probably you. You've got so many fans here, and you have had over so many years, haven't you?
Yeah, they've been great, and chips are down at the moment, and we need these guys more than ever, and I'm sure they're going to show up now, and I'm going to try and do the same.
Fantastic. It looks like they're up for it. Dom, we'll let you get on with it. Thanks very much indeed. Over to your commentators, Cass Edwards and Simon Golding.
So a singles match next up. And as the Americans might say, Team Europe are getting a certain part of their anatomy well and truly kicked right now in Weber Cup 13. And if we're going to get anything from this year's tournament, Dom Barrett has to play a huge game against the man that virtually owns the lane here in Barnsley, Tommy Jones.
Simon, it's the European ranked #1 player in the shape of Dominic Barrett against TJ Tommy Jones, Mr. 300, who actually owns this lane. He said in an interview that he needs to bring his A game. Well, one shivers when Tommy Jones says he's going to bring his A game. I mean, that could be 270 or above. So watch this space, I think.
Yeah, this could be a big scoring match. Tommy Jones then, to get things underway, just falls off that one a little, but he's got it to the pocket very nicely. Little stumble at the line, but he's so locked in on this lane that virtually nothing puts him off. Third match on this oil pattern, Cass, so what properties have we got out there that the bowlers have to watch out for?
Well, initially, Sam, yeah, it is 38 feet down to the break point, so there's a load of back end, but the previous match before this would have dragged some of the oil down into that dry area, so the guys have got to watch the reaction of the ball They still mustn't get too far out to the right-hand side because the oil will still be out there, and if they drift into it, you're going to get a bit of aquaplaning, you won't make the pocket.
That was a brisk shot from Dominic Barrett. Doesn't hang about, whereas his opponent Tommy Jones has a longer and longer pre-shot routine these days. By plenty of back-end casts, you're talking about that dry part of the lane where the ball will start to hook in towards the pins.
Yes, as it comes off the oiling pattern at about 38 to 40 feet now, as it's carried down, the ball will react with friction between the ball and the dry part of the lane. And that's where the power on the rotation on the ball comes into action, starts the ball hooking and driving through those pins, hopefully right in between the 1 and the 3 pin.
TJ gets the messenger across. He was very close to leaving that 10. It was not great into the pocket, but he's got so many revs, he's got so much power that he got a great carry.
That's the sort of good fortune you need. Get that messenger to come across and take the 10 pin away, which was standing there for just half a second. Certainly having a good bowling day is TJ Tommy Jones. Not the sort of man you could say is having a bad hair day in any shape whatsoever, but certainly having a good bowling day.
Barrett is just a touch right of Tommy's mark, which means that he's not opening the lane up quite as much, so he's got less space to work with. And he's got to be very careful with the line he's bowling, but so far so good.
Yeah, both these guys will watch one another's play. They'll see which area of the lane they're playing in, where the strike zone's in, and where their reaction is, and they'll either try to avoid or actually sit in there as well. So they do watch one another's games.
Certainly a match to film. And TJ, one of the 2 stars that will feature. Working 2 strikes. And just sorts it out immediately, and the data from the last shot goes in, gets computed, and out he comes and shoots a perfect strike.
Yeah, just minor adjustments there, and there's some supporters from down south.
From the Wickham and Aylesbury Youth Bowling Club. They must have had a tough paper round. Now then, Dom, we know what the demand is, and you have just got to hang in there with TJ and hope that he shoots something rotten at some stage. And just cut up on that head pin. There was always the danger that they were going to leave a single pin there.
Yes, I think Dom made a move there on the approach. He went even further left. Now just watch where his feet finish, almost in the channel. Shooting that round the 20th board, getting out as far as probably the 8th board. Big reaction back, cuts straight through the 1 through 5. It's got so much power on it, it just goes straight through and misses the 9 pin. So that can only be a spare off what was a pretty tidy shot.
Cast with the line he was bowling, the danger was always going to be high on the head pin as opposed to getting behind the head pin, and unfortunately it's happened.
Yeah, he was getting an awful lot of back end there, so the ball really snapped up, but the angle going in was great. And that's one of it, just powered through rather than sort of deflected off. The ball had so much rotation on it. Sometimes we say in bowling, less is more. You'll get more if you put less on the ball, and that probably would have happened in that scenario. But you know, if you've got the ball, you're in the pocket with a lot of rotation and power, you think, I'm going to get 10. Doesn't always work. Works for this man most of the time, unfortunately, for the Europeans.
TJ then working those 3 strikes, the turkey looking for a 4-bagger and looking to do what he's done so many times on this lane, just multiple strikes, and this time does leave a flat 10. So we're back on.
The 300 game goes from the man that we thought may well be shooting one this year again. But as you say, Simon, yeah, flat 10 leaves it standing quite defiantly in the corner there, doesn't it? So this 2 can only be a spare, and both maximums drop down now to 279 if they can both strike out.
Opportunity, the Weber Cup, to to see the world stars in action and some of the hottest players on the planet.
Ooh, hang on.
Ooh, that's close. But I do love the way, Cass, that British bowling is, comes out in force now to support the Webber. They really do. This is a golden opportunity for young and old to watch. Lewisham Bowling Club here in Barnsley to lend their support.
Some of the Webber Cup has moved on from year after year. I remember back in the old days when it was pretty much professional amateurs. We had your Tim Macks, your Thomas Lee Andersons, your Phil Scammels and Bill Hoffmans. It's progressed. Chris Barnes came here initially, and as years gone by, of course, other PBA stars have come over, and now the Europeans are PBA stars in their own right. So the game has certainly moved on, and it's the English supporters here that come to the Metrodome that take pleasure in seeing these great world stars shooting their best.
And alongside Lewisham Bowling Club, we saw Guy Hearn from Cambridgeshire. And they really are coming from all the corners of the country to gather here at the Metrodome, which has become the spiritual home really of the Webber Cup over the last few years. And you can see by the crowds, I mean, it's standing room only, literally, and they've been here since 2 hours before play started. And the players are so accessible as well, Cass, as they move down from the green room, they're not surrounded by security guards, they move into the crowd, they have a good chat with everybody. It really is a wonderful atmosphere here. Can Europe and Dom Barrett give the 10-pin fans something to cheer about? More Webber Cup action after the break.